On this. Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Mary Balliet. I'm the co-founder and chief science officer of Potential Power Nutrition. And today on our take-home message for MTHFR is Dr. Michael Carey. Hi, Dr. Mike. How are you?
Great, Dr. Mary. Hi, everybody. I am practicing out in San Diego, California, actually the North County. And my practice, I work on children all the way to, I think my oldest patient currently is 87, and he looks about 57. He's got some great genes, but primarily focused with sports, but everybody is an athlete from my perspective. But really happy to be here today with Dr. Mary.
Thank you. So what is the take-home message about MTHFR? So hang in as we move to the next slide. Dr. Mike.
All right, I'm going to say this quickly because we don't have a lot of time, and actually being out of school for a while, I want to get to the meat of the matter. And honestly, for MTHFR, this is what you're looking at. You're looking at trying to get this for your patients: lean chicken, pork, eggs, shrimp, and if they're vegan, we have navy beans, broccoli, green peas, as well as low-fat milk. But what we really want to focus on are these things, and sometimes they don't necessarily get this that well. And the other key takeaway is 40% of the population of Caucasian and Latinos can have this issue. So that could be a high percentage of your patient population. Anything else you want to add?
I do. I just want to say that when we have MTHFR, which I do, right? I want to make sure I have all these foods that are high in choline, or I need to have something that has lecithin in it, and I need methyl B12, which is only found in animal products like meat and milk. Folic acid, which is what MTHFR stands for, that it's doing something with folic acid. For MTHFR, the folic acid is only going to be used to make your hair, your skin, your nails, and your muscles. And that's really what it's doing. It's not involved in getting rid of the thing we're going to be talking about, which is called homocysteine in a minute. So it's not involved. So our take-home message is, for those of us like me, we need foods high in choline and foods high in methyl B12. All right, so how come everybody's all up about MTHFR anyway? And that is because heart disease is the #1 cause of death in the US and Canada. It is caused by plaquing in your arteries. Now, the problem is this looks bad. Now we don't have enough room we can see here for the blood to get through. And bizarrely, if we close the artery down by 50%, we don't get 1/2 the blood, we only get 1/16. So this is a huge issue. So we have to ask, how did this happen? Why is it not open? How did this happen? This had to be damaged. This is trying to repair damage. And the #1 thing that causes damage is the most common cardiovascular pathology called hypertension. So let's take our hands and slap them together. That hurts. We want to not have hypertension, which is caused by high salt and high blood sugar, very damaging. So high blood sugar, high salt increases hypertension, and just sugar damages it. And then we're going to talk about this really cool molecule called homocysteine in a minute. So, Dr. Mike, what do people tend to eat?
Exactly. You know what? The acronym is the standard American diet is SAD, and everybody craves sugar and salt. And that's the biggest issue we have, and I think in our patient population. So that leading to coronary artery disease is the #1 battle that we're facing with our patient population. I don't know any patient that hasn't craved one or both.
Exactly.
And it's a big issue.
Exactly,
Yes.
right? And so how can we help with all this? Well, one thing is that we have to talk about homocysteine. That was the third thing. But in 1997, Harvard showed that homocysteine is one of the major things besides hypertension that can really damage the blood vessel wall and actually damage your arteries as well. Not just your arteries, but your joints as well. So let's take a look at this. This thing is called S-adenosylmethionine. It's when I put this little yellow methyl group on a methionine. So we're going to believe that this is my hand and I'm going to put a methyl group on it, right? And now I have S-adenosylmethionine. Why do I need this one? Well, let's say I want to make creatine. Look at this guy. He's probably doing creatine, right? So he can make creatine in his body. That takes SAMe to make that. What if you want to burn your fat? Well, fat is too fat to walk into your mitochondria. You got to drive your carnitine in. And to make carnitine, I also need SAMe. What if I'm in fight or flight? A deer jumped out in front of me, or just everything gets to me. I need SAMe. And then when I want to make choline, which is needed to make the most important neurotransmitter, here's a nerve transmission, and to do muscle contraction, that needs acetylcholine. When I take acetylmethionine and I give away that methyl group to make these things, I'm left, you see this is gone, I'm left with a thing called homocysteine. Now I got to do this. This is necessary for everyone. So it's not a problem, provided I can go back. And I can then get rid of the homocysteine and go back and make methionine. So how do I do that? Well,
So
what
Doc,
I do, go ahead, Dr.
just
Mike.
to be clear, and you referred to that methyl group, that little yellow circle there. That's the hockey puck. So the hockey puck is going to go to either creatine, carnitine, epinephrine, or choline. And then when your hand is like you're giving me a high five, that's homocysteine. We need to get homocysteine back into a different form.
To this.
To this. Okay. I'm just making I'm the simple sports analogy guy. Okay.
Yes, but it is great. It's a hockey puck. Great job.
Yep.
Great job. So how do I do it? Well, I actually need the hockey puck methyl group on B12. And B12 is called cobalamin. So I need methylcobalamin. Therefore, when I give this little yellow hockey puck to homocysteine, I make methionine. Or I can come this way and I can use choline, which becomes this other thing called betaine, which is interesting. And then it can put the methyl on this and make, it can go this way from homocysteine and methionine. So I got two ways to do it always. The body always builds in a backup plan. So, you want to talk about backup plans, Dr. Mike?
Sure. Which backup plan? Hold on, because I'm
Just
looking
in
at
general, do you tend to have a backup plan?
Of course I have. I always have a plan B, a plan C.
That's how the body works. It always has to have plan B. In fact, this has plan C, as Dr. Mike said. So I can either recycle it, so to speak, using methylcobalamin. I can recycle it using choline, or I can recycle it using vitamin B6. And so I got a few ways to do it. Notice on this slide, there's no folic acid. Even though they say if I have MTHFR, I should use a methylated folic acid. Do we see that on that slide, Dr. Mike?
No, it's not there.
No, because for 10,000 years, people have had MTHFR. Never did we have methylfolic acid, and it's not on the slide. So it's not how the game is played. Let's talk about where do I normally get choline and methylcobalamin? Dr. Mike.
And this is what we started out in the beginning. It's just it's rinse and repeat. But you're looking at lean chicken protein, lean pork, fish, shrimp, beef. Those are great sources, and for highest in choline. Now the challenge with some of this too is like sometimes people they're vegan, or they don't like dairy, or they don't like fish. So that's the biggest challenge I have, honestly, and I'm sure you guys do too with patients. They're stressed out anyways, and they can't find easy solutions. So we have that for you, and I think that's what's wonderful with Dr. Mary in this process. So we'll go on to the next slide.
So when people talk about folate, the key thing is when they say you need methylfolic acid on the internet, or somebody says it on TikTok or Instagram, it makes me crazy as a biochemist. Now I have two hockey pucks. They're just going to bang into each other. It's not how the game is played. If I have MTHFR, I never went this way. So sticking in another methyl group when I already have a methyl group, that's like playing hockey with two pucks. Doesn't work out. Did I try it because everybody told me to do it? Absolutely, I did. So here's a picture of me taking both methyl tetrahydrofolate, which everybody says you should have. And this is how I look with methylcobalamin. This is me at 55. This is me today. This picture is me at 68. Clearly, that did not work because I have
Dr. Mary, Quick question. How many people and how many docs do you think are still doing this, where they're taking both and they're recommending both?
I think that it is the number one most misunderstood things because this is what everybody said was right. And then Dr. Marie Cadell at Cornell did the research. She's the leading researcher in choline and folic acid metabolism in the world. And I know her personally, and she's a colleague and friend of mine. And I have her permission to talk about this. And when she figured this out, not that long ago, I think people just
How long
don't
ago
know.
was it? How long ago
I
did
would
she?
say probably 2020.
Okay, okay. And I know this, and I'm so appalled at this, but most white paper research, that information that can be a game changer for clinicians and for patients, it was taking 14 years to get into their practice. Now it's even longer, it's 17 years. So this is 4 years old, and still a lot of practitioners are doing what you're saying.
Right, because big names they sound really good on TikTok
Exactly.
and Instagram, and then I have to write a PowerPoint about it because I'm like, oh no, that's not the literature anymore. And that's so hard, right, to change your mind. But then the proof is in the pudding, right? So I notice how much better I feel because I have MTHFR because I shifted. So what I do about it, Dr. Mike?
Well, this is what I love about the potential power of nutrition. The easy solution is your blend because it has everything in the right forms, right? It's easily absorbable, and it's for my patients that don't understand the biochemistry, but understand enough of what needs to be in their system. If they're not getting the whole food supplementation, obviously, this is just a game changer for them.
Yeah, and so I put in lecithin, which is a source of choline. I put in methylcobalamin. I put in folate, not methylfolate. Put in B6 because it's another workaround, Plan C, and it's low in sugar and salt. So now we're really gonna have that solution. So we'd like to thank you and just say we're so happy to be here, and thank you so much, Dr. Michael Carey, for being my guest on the take-home message of MTHFR. So thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.